just because we won, just because we got 3 points, doesn't mean you can't criticise a performance because that was pretty poor. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, and weren't the best.
I suppose we better talk about it then. Welcome back to the latest episode of B6 and Beyond. You are here with me and Cory to talk post-Basel and what was a pretty poor performance, but ultimately 3 points and job done for Aston Villa. Before we do get into it, guys, I just want to remind everyone we do have an ongoing giveaway for either match tickets or a shirt of your choice. All that you need to do to qualify for that is hit that subscribe button. We give away that every 500 subs, and we are getting close to the next giveaway, so don't miss out. So straight into it, mate, because I'm pretty sure we don't want to be talking about this for too long, and I'm pretty sure everyone listening don't want to be talking about this for too long because it was a pretty poor performance. But ultimately, as we've just said, it's 3 points. We're currently sat third in the Europa League phase, and we're in a really good position because we will qualify in the top 8. It's almost guaranteed now. It's a top 2 that we want, obviously. We'll go into that shortly. But how do you feel walking away from that game?
I don't feel any different to before the game, to be honest. I think it's just one of them where there was nothing to sort of say, get us off our seats. There was nothing like that to say, oh, that was a top performance, this, that and the other. But as you say, ultimately, it's 3 points closer to where we need to be. We're confirmed ours top 24. So we're into the next round no matter what. As you say, we want to be aiming for those top 2 spots. Minimum top 8, obviously. If I'm honest with you, I think obviously as the game was there, I think we all knew Basel was going to be a tough test, but I don't think they were. I don't think Basel particularly played well. I thought I was expecting more from them. Yeah, and I think that's just something that made it a bit more annoying from Villa's perspective. Is it's another game where we just need to offer a bit more, but it's 3 points nonetheless.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think look, we're very, very reactionary as football fans. Like I know I am very reactionary, but I still think we need to take into consideration that it was a heavily rotated side that we started with, and ultimately we've still won the game. And we've for example, Watkins come on. I don't know what the minute was, maybe around the 60 if it weren't far off that, give or take. But ultimately, these players haven't had a full 90 in the tank, and they've all had somewhat of a, should we say, like a deload session. And when they come on, none of them were putting it in 100%, were they? Let's be realistic. None of them got out of second or third gear. There was definitely more gears to go on. I just think as a fan, we sit here watching that, and because of the levels of the performance, we're walking away from the game quite frustrated. But if you think about it in hindsight, we've still won the game. And I know you mentioned over a message to me about, goal difference, and it could be really important. I agree with you. I fully agree with you. And it would have been nice to go and see us stick another couple past these, because I think they were really there to be got at. They were poor, very poor. I just thought, some of the players that did come in for the starting team were really bad, really bad. I thought particularly Sancho was horrendous. I thought Evan Gesson, despite him scoring the goal, how on earth? I think at one point Flash Scores had him rated at 7.5 or 8 it was, and I'm just like, what? He was giving the ball away, couldn't cross to save his life. He was shocking, absolutely shocking. And Sancho weren't much better either. He was terrible as well. But look, I think what I will say about Sancho is he looked visibly frustrated with himself when he come off the pitch. You seen him slap the chair. And, some people might make something like that. But personally, I like to see it. I like to see that he's pissed off with his performance, because ultimately he knows that he can do better than that. And realistically, any Villa fans that are slating him, was any of you slating him this weekend after his performance against Arsenal when he come off the bench, and he was probably one of our brighter sparks towards the end of the game? Don't think he was. So come on, just give it a rest. It was a bad night at the office for him. I get it. We're paying a lot of wages, but he still isn't quite up to speed with the Emery system, I don't think, personally. I don't think he's a million miles away, though, if I'm going to be honest.
No, I completely agree. I almost think Sancho's been brought in as a bit of an anomaly to the Emery system, similar to what Rashford was last year, in terms of Emery plays a certain way, but there's certain players who he brings in, so like Morgan Rogers, for example, Sancho this season, Rashford last season, who play a bit differently. It's a different outlet. It's one of those players where you give them the ball and they're allowed to run at players, because we know when it comes to Emery, he likes slow build-up play. He likes that thing of sort of take your time, pass it back if you need to, that sort of thing. Whereas I think Sancho's one of those players where he just sort of says to him, when you get the ball, go at them. That's why he's probably looking poor, because it's a case of Sancho is trying to do that. He's going at the players and he's trying to make things happen and losing the ball. I think today, obviously, like you say, it wasn't a great game by him. It wasn't a great game by Gasol. It wasn't a great game by Buendia. Bogard had probably one of his worst games for us. But again,
Marlon.
Yeah, Marlon. It's.
But then we could be looking at this totally different though. In that, that lovely little bit of play down the left channel between Marlon and Sancho. If Marlon gets that under control and slots it, and Sancho gets the assist for it, we could be having a different conversation here. So it's like
it's Buendia in the first half. That little flick into Marlon as well, where if Marlon gets it back to Buendia, it's a nice goal.
It's fine margins in football, isn't it? You're talking about poor performances, but we could be sat here having a completely different conversation. I just think we're walking away from it with a bit of a bitter taste, really. Even though we've won.
Ultimately, as you say, it's a frustrating night, but it's one of them where we've got the 3 points. We can take that. As I say, Basel sort of didn't really offer much in the way against us, which is obviously one of those annoying things where it's like we could have probably gone on and attacked a bit better and done better in that sense. As I say, I mentioned to you about sort of goal difference and stuff, and you look at these games against Maccabi, you look at the game against Young Boys, you look at the game today, we probably could have gone and put 4 or 5 past all of those.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't disagree. Don't disagree with you in the slightest. I think one thing that I know we picked up on it during the game, I thought when the players come off the bench as well, though, neither Rodgers, Watkins, when they both come on, they couldn't get up to the speed of the game. They looked terrible. The only player that I thought did play well when he come on was Yuri Tillemans. I actually think Yuri Tillemans was our best player on the night, to be honest with you. I thought he played really well when he come on. He played some lovely intricate passes in the middle of the park. He did that on the edge of the box where he skipped past a couple of players and got fouled. He's just a lovely footballer, Yuri Tillemans is. And I know we've not. He's not been completely up to speed, but it looks like the last couple of games he was brilliant against Arsenal, I thought. And then, the second half today, and he took his goal really well. I know keeper may have potentially done better, but I think it's a lovely finish. It's on the ground. He's hit it quite well. It's a good goal, in my opinion.
Yeah. To be fair, obviously I said that at the time. I said I thought the keeper should have done better. But then I watched they showed a replay from behind the goal. And I didn't realise actually at the time that he's used the player to curve it around him, hasn't he? So to be fair, like I say, I think the keeper probably will be annoyed at himself because it wasn't right in the corner. But at the same time, the way he's guided it around the player, it's made it difficult for the keeper to actually react. And like I say, it was a nice finish. He changed the game ultimately when he came on. It was a bit of sort of class in the middle. We started to control the game a bit more. Obviously, everything was going through him, and yeah. It was a change that needed to be made, and it was one that worked really well.
Yeah, no disrespect to Bogard ultimately, because like I said, Bogard is a fantastic young footballer. But let's be realistic: when you're putting in Yuri Tillemans in the centre of the park over him, there's going to be a natural uplift in performance levels in the centre of the park because he's a better footballer.
I must say, he looked better at right back today. Which
he played well.
It just shows
his versatility, mate.
I was to say how key he is in terms of. A lot of people probably would have said after that first half, get him off the pitch, this, that and the other. I was surprised when it was Matty Cash that came off. I know obviously he was on a yellow card and I think...
Save his minutes in his legs, mate.
Yeah, he wasn't having his best game either, so there's no point risking any sort of cards or injuries. But like I say, it shows how good and versatile Bogard is that when he dropped to right back, which is an unnatural position for him, but still one that he was comfortable in. And like I say, I think he played really well. Lindelof did his job as well. I thought he did quite well.
We got away with one at the end. The one that hit Rodgers and went over. That was going in.
What it is with set pieces, you can definitely tell. Don't get me wrong. As much as we love him, and he's a great name to have, Marco Bizzot, you can definitely tell
the difference between them
from set pieces. We can see it a lot more from set pieces when he's there because he's not commanded at all.
No, which is quite mad, isn't it? Because he's a big unit of a bloke as well. Like he's
6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he's probably a huge bloke. He should be dominating his box, but that's definitely a weakness of his, and probably one of the reasons why he's not played at probably a higher level than what he actually has. With no disrespect to Marco Bizzot, but you can see that it's chalk and cheese between him and Emi Martinez in that sense. In terms of his distribution and the way he controls an area, he's really poor, in my opinion. I always get really nervous. Was it against Feyenoord away? he was really, really, really dodgy as well
No, he
from
was
set
brilliant against
pieces.
Feyenoord.
No, but making saves he was, but in terms of controlling his area and catching the ball and whatnot, I know he made saves. He made about six.
Brighton's the one that springs to mind. Obviously, the first goal was his mistake when he came in.
I'm sure he did something
It
against
might have been
Feyenoord again.
Feyenoord.
I'm pretty positive he did. Don't get me wrong. I know he made like 6 or 7 saves that game, and he was ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure every time the ball came in, because they had multiple set pieces right in front of us, and he didn't look comfortable every time the ball went into the box. But
I think that is the difficulty we have, especially when you're like, changing goalkeepers. And I actually was quite vocal about this in terms of I spoke to you. Obviously, we've not spoke about him on this podcast because he's not a Villa player anymore. But when Robin Olsen was coming in, I don't think Robin Olsen was necessarily as bad as he came off. I think it was just defensively they didn't trust him as much, and it led to more mistakes. And it's similar with Bizot. I think the defence aren't as confident, but they're not sure what they're supposed to do. So like when these corners and free kicks are coming in, everyone sort of switches off expecting the keeper to come and grab it, and he doesn't do that. Whereas obviously if it's Martinez, as much as Martinez a couple times this season he's got away with a few where he's sort of lost it and will throw himself down, he'll still come out and try and claim it. Like even the goal today that he conceded, he's not committed to it. If he commits to that, it doesn't happen. For me, he's got to go and punch it. Don't get me wrong, it's a lovely finish actually by the Basel player. It was a really nice finish, but it's just something that he lacks in his game. And ultimately, when you change, what was it, 7 changes we made?
yeah, so you're going to feel it, ain't you? And that's where you have to take a bit of hindsight when you are having this conversation. Like I said, I think we'll wrap it up there, mate, because I don't think there's much really to go over, and I think we've covered pretty much everything we need to speak about. Ultimately, it weren't a good night at the office. Villa didn't play particularly well, but we was a heavily rotated side. We've got 3 points. We are sat third in Europa League phase, and
Third
it's
in the
now
Premier League.
third in the Premier League. That's now 8 wins in a row, and we are on to West Ham this weekend. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. We're going to have a goal of 20 likes on the video. I know the Villa. I'm not going to tell you to smash a lot for the Villa because we've won the game because that's embarrassing. But yeah, all your likes and subscribes really do appreciate it, guys, because ultimately it helps the channel grow. Final one from me and Cory. Up the Villa.